All right. So before we get into content, I just want to speak to the practical assignment. And I know it seems crazy when it's only due in October, but I need to just lay the foundation a bit because for those who did during last semester, this isn't going to be new, but for others it is. And I just want to give you guys a bit of time to be working through it and know what is needed for this practical assignment in terms of the submission of it. So I'm not going through the actual content of it now, obviously, because it's still a long way away and we haven't got that far yet. But I do need to speak to how you guys are going to be presenting it so that everyone is kind of on the same page. So when I talk to it, it's not something completely new or obscure or anything strange like that. Okay. So you guys would have seen on the brief that you are doing a practical assignment. And what that means is that you guys are not submitting it like you would normally, just straight on VC Learn. Okay, so Tegan, Ali, and hey Larissa, and Larissa did this for journalism last semester for their POEs. And basically what it is that instead of your assignment only being put just through VC Learn, what you are also going to be doing is you're going to be creating a website. Okay, so they use the example of Weebly as a website to use. I personally have always used Wix, so I'm going to share my screen before I actually go into this here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys quickly just to show you Wix. And the reason why I just wanted to bring it to your attention now is because so that all of you have time to actually just get to grips with Wix and what it's all about. Just realized now it's going to share the wrong page. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, why this is important is that it does take a while to actually create these websites. Yeah, that's the thing is I just want to give you guys as much time as possible to make sure that you have everything on it that is correct and that the layout works and everything. So it's so important to have the time to work through it. So you're going to be able, so what you would do is begin with a template. Okay. I'm going to speak to the logging in details now. Come on. Okay. And then you can choose any template that you want. Okay. So you guys are going to be submitting these as blogs, but I just want to see you. So you can go through the thousands of templates that they have. I think there's like, if you click on all templates, there's like 74 pages of different templates. Okay, let me just, now it's going to load one. Okay, so now let's see if it actually, it wouldn't load on Friday when I went through this with my BAs on campus. So let's just load it. That's why I just wanted to load it and then explain to you guys in terms of login. So for Ali, Larissa, and Tegan, you guys obviously already have your Wix login details, and all that you do is add on. Why aren't you loading, you silly page? All that you do is you're going to just create a new website. Okay, so you don't need to redo your login details. You don't need to do anything. You can just add on a page. It's still free. Okay, so all of you are going to use your VC email for the login. Okay, and for your password, it's password 2023 exclamation mark. Is that correct, guys? It feels like a lifetime ago that I did this. But the reason why you all have to use the same Perfect. The same login details is so that if anything goes wrong with your website, I don't have to WhatsApp you and wait for you to reply and everything to get in login details. If we standardize it, it means that I'm able to get in no matter what time of day. I like, doesn't matter what's going on. Okay, so it just saves some problems for later on, and it just means that we all working to the same standard. Okay. The other thing is it is a blog, so like you guys did for Journ, but you can choose any sorry, excuse me. You can choose any site, and with that you can create anyone or make anyone or convert anyone to a blog. So don't feel that you can only use the ones that they say as blog. That's not the case. Okay. What is also important is please always just click save and make sure you save everything as you're going. The other important thing is for those who haven't created these yet, please, please, please do not do your writing and everything in Word. I mean, listen to me. Please don't do all your writing in Wix. Do all your writing in Word. So write out your entire assignment, because it still has to go through VC Learn. You still are going to have to put everything through Safe Assign, but I don't mark the Safe Assign document. It's just there as a protocol. I mark only what is visible on the website. So you need to put it all in Word first, because I've had students who have lost their entire portfolios, because normally this is a POE, entire portfolios, entire assignments the day of submission, and there's nothing they can do because they didn't do it in Word, even though I'd said to them over and over again, do it in Word first. So do it in Word, save everything. You're going to submit that to VC Learn to make sure you tick that box, and then you will copy and paste everything onto your website. All right. We've got to work with the technology, not against it. All right. And when you save it, you can call it anything you want at the end. If you want to say Media 7322 or MEST 7322, whatever you want. But the most important buttons here on the page and this bar here is this. So if you go click on this down, you'll see there where it says Manage Pages. You can click on that, or you just click on the green page here. But just in case you are unsure of what, if you like click on this or that, it's the same thing. It just takes you to different pages. And when you want to edit a page, you've just got to make sure you clicked on that page. Otherwise, you won't be able to see what you're editing or what you're trying to do. So when you go to Manage Pages, what you need to have is you need any of these things that have got like anchors or anything funny. I want you to delete those all. So for example, with product, you would go and click delete until you've got everything that you want. In this instance, you can see there's this eye, which means it's not visible. What I would do if you have any of those is go show, and you want pages with this what looks like a little page next to it. So you would delete these. So you would delete like that. And then like here where it says privacy policy, you would edit that and you'd rename that to say about me. So you're going to have 3 pages: home, about me, and references. Okay, so that's really important. Okay, and then if you need to add a page because there aren't enough pages left, you just go click on add page, and then they give you a whole bunch of different layouts. So, you know, general, about, whatever it may be, whatever you need, they give you these different layouts to work with. Okay. Then the other thing that you need to know, which is really important, is this add elements button. So as you can see right now, I don't have a blog, which is absolutely fine. So if I go to add elements and go to blog, I would say add to site. And now it's turning this into a blog site. So it'll have home, about me, in this case blog, references and blog, but I'm going to fix that now. I'm going to show you what to do. Just let it add the blog. And then it means that all your pieces of writing that you're going to do for the assignment will go into the blog. Okay, so just give it 1 second. Okay, so I don't need to worry about this right now, but I'm going to go to the blog page, and I want to make sure that when we go to manage pages, I want to go to site menu, and I want the references after my blog, so I will click here so that you've got that arrow pointing 4 ways, drag it down, and you'll see here now we've got home, about me, blog, references. All right, everyone on the same page so far? Cool. All right, so once you have done that, then you're able to load everything. And it's as simple as, again, going to that add elements, and you can add text, you can add images, you can add anything that you want to make your site yours. But what also is important is, like with these headers, for example, with this button, you've got to delete anything that is irrelevant to your site, to you and the site that you're creating. So, like for example, here they've got all this information in here. You would delete that footer. The header and footer can't be deleted, but we want to delete all that random information because it isn't going to add anything to your site, and you do get 10% or 10 marks for your blog presentation. So like for example here, this footer is really big and yellow. You could go and change the color of it. You can also shrink it up a bit or whatever you want. It's that you can make it what you want it to be. So if you need to make the section smaller, if you need to make it bigger, you've got to work on your layout, being presentable and making sure your layout works with what we're trying to do in terms of, there we go, now I've shrunk my footer, that's what I was trying to do, in terms of it being presentable for a media assignment. Okay, so I want you guys just to be cognizant of the fact that this is a media assignment. So if whichever layout you choose, if for example you really like the layout but the images have got nothing to do with what we're doing, then go and source other images, add them in, and make the colors all uniform, make the layout neat, and please just work with the software, not against it. Okay, so for example here I'm on the references page. If I click on the drop down and go to home, it'll take me to the next site. Okay, next page, sorry. And by the end of it you should have four functioning pages. And just to show you in terms of the blog, so if you go to the blog, come on, it always takes its time. Okay, you can see here I've got a whole bunch of random made up blog posts. So if you go here, you'll see manage posts. You will click on that, and then it will load. It is a little bit slow. Don't panic. Don't think it's broken. Just give it a minute to load and just let it think. Because the moment you rush with Wix, the quicker it crashes. Okay, there we go. Come on. All right, so here's our blog. So I'm going to go to blog. I'm going to go to posts. Come on. Okay, so you can see here it says no published post yet. So what will happen is you can put all your stuff into drafts. All right. You can see there's you can schedule things and all that. We're not going to do that, obviously. So here you'll go create post, and here you'll be able to give a title and your essay question. You can also put in pictures, you can add all sorts. So they've got all the stuff here that you're able to add. Okay. So and then guys, what is important with your blog posts, that you do need to publish to make sure the blog posts actually load on your page. But in terms of the site as a whole, you do not need to publish it. It doesn't have to go live, because I do have your login details. So it's very important to just remember that there's two different things. The blog posts you publish, the site as a whole you don't have to publish. Okay. So that is just understanding Wix and the blog and what you need. Okay. So here you don't have to click this publish, because then it goes live. But you do need to publish the blog posts. If you are concerned or worried or anything like that, you can WhatsApp me. I can log in my side and we can have a look and see what you're missing or what's going wrong and what have you. Okay, so it's easy for me to log in from my side as it is for you to log in from your side. Okay. The other thing I just wanted to say, because the assignment is out, what is awesome is that there are four essays, but you only have to choose 2. So to me, question 2 and 4 are the nicest. But obviously when we go through it at a later stage, if you prefer 1 and 3 or 2 and 3 or whatever, that's absolutely fine. But at least it means you're not writing 4 essays. You're only going to be writing 2. And the word count is not completely over the top. All right, so it's 45 marks per essay and then 10 marks for the presentation of your website. Okay. Yes, Pierre, it's the project for October. So they've called it a practical assignment. All right. So that's why I say it seems crazy that I'm preempting this so far in advance, but if you are sitting at home and you don't have like a ton of work on your plate, I would highly recommend starting to work through Wix, just because it is time consuming and it's 10 marks for free if you do it nicely. Yeah, that's true, Ali. And you guys can attest to how much time it takes to actually create these websites. So you think it's going to be a quick thing, but it takes a bit longer than we plan in the beginning. Okay. But as you get the hang of it, it's not overwhelming. Weird question. Does the color scheme of the website have to match the color scheme of the textbook? Larissa, no, not at all. You can do whatever color scheme you want. I would honestly say I'd prefer it not to match the textbook, because that yellow is quite something. So yeah, just remember, must colors stay to a theme? Not necessarily, Pierre. So what I would do is like make it matte, like maybe have an overarching possibly color scheme, and then each of your essays can have their own colors or something like that. Just don't make it look cheesy, or I don't know, ick, for lack of a better word. I've had some students that have done like mad crazy backgrounds and I can't read the text, and the thing is then you get like 2 out of 10 for your website. So rather keep it simple, straightforward, that kind of thing. I don't want anyone losing marks unnecessarily, especially when I will happily look at things ahead of time, are the words that I was trying to think of. Okay, it's been a long day. Yeah, exactly, Pierre. So you've got to make it look like you would see a website, like a proper professional website. You can embed the pictures and have the text wrap around them. A lot of people just copy and paste the text straight in, but it's a bit boring, and I'd rather it have a little bit of life to it. But if websites and tech are just not your thing, as long as it's neat, and as long as the content is presented well, then you're still going to get decent marks. Okay. You might not get the full 10 out of 10, but in saying that, I've had some students that have done, like, I don't want to say the bare minimum, that's a wrong choice of words, but they have executed a basic, simple, and well presented website, and they got 8, 9, 10 for it. So it's not that I am expecting convoluted and over the top or anything like that. I'd prefer it to be neat and simple, and the focus being on the actual essay questions. Okay. Any other questions with regards to the websites? Oh, wait, there's one thing I just want to say. Let me just show you. Yeah, exactly, Karen. Eye-catching, but not the, but yeah, simple and easy to read. Because don't forget, I am marking this off the website. So what happens is I will obviously check your safe assign. I go and have a look at it and everything. And then I open the websites and I mark it on the websites. I will have the rubric, which I will fill in, and that rubric gets uploaded to VC Learn. So you're not going to get essays back with, scribbles all over them. You will just get the rubric back with your marks. All right, and just to show you guys, the other important thing is, yeah, okay. So just to say that there is this disclaimer that you can see. Let me just put a square around it. Rectangle. Okay. This disclaimer must be on the front page at the bottom of your home page. So within your footer, this does have to be present. And that is to say that, this is your work. It's an assignment. So VC takes no responsibility for what you produce. Okay. So it's really important to make sure that is present. And then, like I said earlier, home, about me, and then it'll be question 1, 2, 3, or 4, and then your references. Okay. And you've got to include a minimum of 8 sources overall. All right. So I'm not going to obviously go into the essay questions now. This is just about the presentation of the content. All right. Okay. So now that you guys have had a bit more time to get through the content and what have you, does anyone have any questions with regards to Learning Unit 1 now that you've had some time to hopefully finish Learning Unit 1? Is there anything that maybe came up that you weren't sure of, that you want to chat about, or anything of that nature? Just to know if everyone's on the same page or not. Have you been able to work through media studies yet? I just want to know where everyone's at, how they're feeling. Okay. Karen, you're just trying to absorb the information. How are you guys feeling about the modules so far with this Afrocentric approach? Is it something new, or is it stuff you've been covering in other modules? Or is it quite text heavy? I don't know. What are your views? Yeah, Pierre, there definitely with Learning One, there's a bit of the stuff in terms of law relating to your media law and ethics module. Have you guys been a little bit more aware of the media since starting the module? Yes, yeah, Pierre says, yeah, the ethics and journ, very similar concept. Have you noticed how Eurocentric the media is now that you've been reading the stuff? Has it raised or brought that to your attention a little bit more? Or do you think that's something you were already aware of? Okay, Karen, that's good. That's the thing, is that we do have to obviously be critical of the media that we receive. And yes, Ali, it's good to read about it and be aware of it and be cognizant of it, because obviously what is important for us to be aware of is that the standard that we, hold ourselves accountable to, and the what should I say, the expectations are actually possibly not um, realistic in some instances, or relevant to us within the African perspective, um, because you know what is expected in a Western European environment can be quite different to what we experience for ourselves, just due to accessibility and what have you. Okay, just give me 1 second. But this morning with the BRIC summit in Santon tomorrow on the radio, it makes me realize there's movement and hope. This is true too. The thing is that we have to watch things such as the BRIC summit and see what pointers are being raised and what perspectives are being heard. If we are getting things from a one-sided perspective, or if we're starting to see this more Afrocentric approach being used more prevalent in a more prevalent manner. Has anyone started to make headway with Learning Unit 2? Just pulling up the learning objectives now. Has anyone had a chance to work through Learning Unit 2 yet? Or any of Learning Unit 2? Or you guys still with 1? Because obviously I'm just making sure that I am focusing. No, that's fine. We've got time, guys, because of the way this module is structured. It's not, I know we've got the pacer, but at the same time, like if you guys are still working through Learning Unit 1, I don't need to rush you onto Learning Unit 2, because we've got the time with the practical assignment, and then once that has been submitted, we get all that time with the scene exam. So what happens is that the scene exam generally gets released the day or a couple days after that scene exam. So it means that the whole way through we can tailor, and with the pressure towards the end of semester, we're able to use what you guys have done through reading the material and then looking at the questions that are presented. We can streamline and focus the content. So we've got a bit of wiggle room due to everything being so late in the semester. So if you guys are still working through Learning 1, that's fine. I did set aside this week and next week for Learning Unit 2, so hopefully by the end of next week you should be able to have got through Learning Unit 2. I kind of figured you guys would probably still on Learning Unit 1. That's why tonight I wanted to focus on Wix and just show you what is needed, so that when you have gaps you can focus on that. And then what we can do is in our next collab we can look at Learning Unit 2 and 3 as one, now that you guys have had a bit more time to maybe get used to the content, start breaking it down, and then it means that as you get used to the writing and the types of questions on BC Learn or what have you, you're able to get through the content a bit quicker. Okay. All right. Any questions from you guys of one module at a time and then move on to the next? Okay, Karen. I get that. I do that as well. I kind of like do massive chunks at a time, and then it means you get through a lot in one go because you get into a flow. Any questions, guys? Crickets. I think everyone's tired because it's late. Okay. Well, if there's no questions for tonight, then we'll finish off now. And then for our next class or our next collab, just make sure that you have got through learning unit 2, and then I'll be able to just clarify and speak to the content a bit more and make sure that you guys are thinking about the theory in terms of application and relating it to real world examples and such. Okay. Oh, sorry, Karen. Time to go have a nice warm bath and go to bed. Okay, guys. So I will chat to you all soon. Have a good evening and let me know once you've got through more content. Thanks, Ali. You too. Pleasure, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye, guys.